There we go. Yes, so as I said, I will show you, I'll take you through the features of the machine, show you how it works, and also just try and help a little bit with customer conversations, because it is a very different product to the other Cricut Easy Presses that you might hopefully be familiar with. If you have any questions, because it's a nice small group, please just ask as I go along, and I'll help you. So if there's anything I'm talking about and it doesn't make sense, just ask me, or if there's any kind of anything that crops up that I've not thought of, please just either pop it in the chat and I'll try and keep half an eye on that, or just unmute yourself and ask me. Okay. So first, a quick overview of Cricut heat presses in general. So if you are working with HTV, so heat transfer vinyl or iron-on vinyl or infusible ink, you need a heat press to transfer whatever your cut design is, like this Cricut logo here, onto a t-shirt or whatever it is. And an easy press or an auto press is by far the best and safest and quickest and most fail-safe way of doing that. So that's kind of a quick overview of what a heat press is. In terms of customer conversations about the auto press, so it's a very, very different product to the easy presses. And I was trying to think, chatting to one of my colleagues yesterday, trying to think about the best way to try and describe that to you. And I think because it's a lot more expensive and people will be like, why would I spend that much money on this product? But if you compare it to like sewing machines, so something, you've got sewing machines which are like £80 or even probably quite a lot less. And then you've got sewing machines which are like £1,000 and lots more. And actually they are tailored to a completely different market. And it's just the same with the heat presses, the easy presses, and the auto press. So whereas the easy presses are certainly aimed at hobbyists, crafters at home who want to make lots of different, oh, got a new other person coming, lots of iron-on vinyl or infusible ink projects. So that's perfect for them. It's brilliant. It's a pretty affordable price for a nice portable, small product at home. The auto press is absolutely created for either people who've got small businesses, for people who want to batch make. So if they're making lots and lots of products for events or for occasions or to sell, that's kind of how that's what it's made for. So it's much quicker and safer for you to be able to do that than the smaller presses are. And I'll show you all of those different features as we go through. Hopefully that makes sense. I just want you to have that in your mind, because it's something I've heard people say is like, why is it so much more expensive? Actually, compared to some of the other comparable presses to the auto press, it's not really, it's really very reasonably priced. So it's just really aimed at a very different market. So I'm going to swap my camera over so that you can actually see the auto press. Here we go. So it's much bigger. You can't really tell the size on here actually, but it is much, much bigger than the usual ones. Are probably about this big, but this goes all the way back to here. It's really heavy, super, super heavy. And that's because all of the mechanics and everything in here are very, the pressure that it applies is so much more. So it's a much, much bigger and heavier machine. I'll show you first of all how you open it up. So try and show you and see all the behind the scenes in my studio. So over here, there are two buttons. There's the on-off button. So I'm going to press that now. That goes on. But as you can see, nothing's happened. The lights have come on, but nothing's actually happened. So in order to get it started, you also need to unlock it. So there's this unlock button here. So I'm going to press unlock. And when I do that, you can see that it pops up. And you'll also probably hear that the fan kind of came on instantly as well. So it's got a fan inbuilt in this top bit here, and that fan kicks in straight away as soon as it's turned on, which means that obviously I'm not going to touch the plate there, but it means that on the top here in the handle, it always stays nice and cool because it draws all that heat away from the plastic areas that you would touch as a customer. So it's nice and safe. There's no metal or any bits on the outside that are going to hurt you. You'll also see that the plate here, so I'll tell you about it as it's heating up. It takes usually about 8 minutes to heat up from room temperature. It depends kind of what temperature it is and what temperature you want to get it to. But the plate here is larger than the other plates. So it's 15 inches wide by 12 inches tall. So they did loads of research and found that was kind of like the optimum size plate that most people need for projects that they'd like to make. So say, I don't know, a sweatshirt front, be a very big sweatshirt front if you had that whole size. So again, like the other easy presses, on the Autopress, you've got this perfectly flat plate here that heats up to exactly the right temperature from side to side. So there are no hot spots, there are no cool spots. It's really, really kind of consistent in that respect. And then if I show you down here, this is a little bit different before. So it's got this heat mat and this plate underneath here. So this is a non-stick heat mat. So you can get, say you were making batch making and you had lots and lots of things that you wanted to make, you know, like a little production line, you could get 2 of these. So you could buy an extra one, and whilst one was being made here, you could be lining up the second one so that when this one was made, take it straight off, put the next one on, and ready to go. So it works slightly differently in that sense. In terms of the actual what do you call it, hinge here, this hinge is quite different to the others on the market. So I'll try and show you as I'm pulling it down. What it does is the hinge kind of changes direction so that just before it starts to go down, the hinge will change and it will lower it perfectly vertically. I don't know if you can see from that. You can kind of see, can't you? So what that means is that there's no shifting around of, once you've got your design placed down on here, I'll show you how easy it is to lower the top in a minute, but it means you've got no concerns over everything on here shifting around because it will lower it perfectly vertically down. It's not going to kind of move it along as it goes down. And by having that hinge, it also means that you can work with much thicker materials. So you can actually heat press down onto, say, wooden blocks, which are like 2 inches, I think it's up to 2 inches thick on here. And what it will do is it will just kind of like auto adjust so that it does exactly the right amount of pressure for whatever thickness you've got in here. So it could be leather, it could be wood, whatever it is you want to press down onto. So you might have heard there that it gave me a little beep, which means that it's come up to temperature. So it doesn't take too long at all. And you've got this other little device here, which is the heat control. So this also plugs into the back as well, and it's super easy to use. It's just got dials here, which you can use to change the temperature that you need to, the temperature and the time that you need for whatever it is that you are pressing. There are 4 presets on here. So if there's something that you do lots of, you can just set presets to that. So it'd be even quicker for you. In terms of knowing what to do for the heat presses, let me show you. It's the same as, hang on. The same as it was for the other easy presses. So hopefully you can see my screen now. This is the heat guide. So you just go on to Cricut Heat Guide. So just Google Cricut Heat Guide, and then it will come up with this page here. So you would choose Cricut Autopress. I'm going to be using Smart Iron On for this demo. So you just choose whichever one it is that you're using. It's got all of the different Cricut materials up there, and then choose whatever the base is. So I'm going to be pressing onto a 100% cotton t-shirt, but again, it's got the wood, it's got everything on here, and it's got all of the Cricut blanks on there as well. So 100% cotton, and then we've got the pressing mat, of course, and you just click apply, and then it will tell you exactly the time, that temperature and the time, and also the step-by-step directions that you need for whatever material you are pressing and whatever you're pressing onto. So that's really straightforward. So what you do is you just then go to your, here we go, your dial, and you set it to 155 and 50 in my case, or whatever it is for your project that you're working on. So let me go back to me again. Oh, hello. So what I'm going to do, this is a really good example. We've got an event coming up. I need to make lots and lots of Cricut t-shirts. So I've got a few here that I've already done. And I'll show you just quickly how to make those. So I've got pre-cut the Cricut logo here, like I said, out of Smart Iron On, like this. And then, or you could also, of course, do infusible ink. I've just got a design here. I'm going to do another workshop this evening. So I've pre-cut those ready for that, but that's just, you could also just do the infusible ink designs if you wanted to. You take your t-shirt. Actually, I might swap over, let me see. No, I might do it here. Yeah, so you can bring the mat down if you wanted to. If you want to do batch making, you can bring the mat down here in front of you, lay the t-shirt on. Of course, you would want to make sure that everything's lined up properly. I'm going to do it a bit more quickly today and just use guesswork, but you know, I'm going to make sure that the neckband is just off the mat, so we have as flat a surface as possible, like this. So if you were doing several, you could have a couple of mats, like I said before, and line them up ready to go. I'm going to pop my, so what you would want to do probably as well, if you weren't doing a workshop like this, is get a lint roller, just roll it across there to make sure you didn't have any bits of fluff and dirt and things on there. But for the purposes of this workshop, I'm going to zip straight in, position my logo in place on here. If you don't have enough excess sticky to hold it in place, you might want to get some heat resistant tape as well, but we're okay now for this. And then I'm going to move my mat over and onto that nice non-stick base. Oh, actually, let's do a 5-second preheat as well. So what I'm going to do now is show you just how easy it is to close the Autopress. So this is one of the lovely features of it, because it's such a heavy machine. You'd be like, oh my goodness, it's going to be so hard, but it's really not. So I've just got literally a couple of fingers on here, pull it down, and then it kind of does the pressure itself. So we're just going to let it do 5 seconds. And then I'm just going to lift it up, and that's done our preheat for us. I'll pop my logo back on. And also another thing to say is it opens up really wide. So again, that's another one of the really good safety features, because it's much, much less chance. You've got a really lovely big space here to work with your project. So it's much, much safer in terms of keeping you nice and clear from that really super hot plate over there. Right, so I've placed my iron-on project on there. So again, just lower it down, and it's going to automatically start counting the timer down for me to whatever the time is that I've got for this project. And then I knew that it was going to just lower that really nice and vertically down. It wasn't going to move my project around at all on the t-shirt. So yeah, I just, you know, you can lower it without any worries. Any questions so far from anybody? It's all making sense. It's pretty straightforward, to be honest. Have you got machines already in your stores? Do you know? Sure. Oh, Emma, no, it doesn't work with the new Heat app. To be honest with you, I'm not 100% sure I'm supposed to be saying this, but I'm going to anyway. This has been in development for a really long time. Oh, hang on. So as you can see, when the time is up, it just lifts up automatically. So again, it means you can just get on with whatever you're doing. You don't have to be kind of stood over your machine, pressing it, moving it around, doing whatever. If it's a mini, it just does it all for you. And then quite often, I think it's because the pressure is so great. It's just, it is different gravy to the other easy presses. I'll notice because I use my Autopress all the time, that it always, can you see already? I've not even touched it, and the carrier sheet is already lifting off. Like it's just so, like, it's sometimes with the easy presses, you have to kind of, that just kind of wouldn't happen with the easy presses. It's, you know what I mean? So yeah, I don't know, you will just always get this really wonderful result. So certainly if you're kind of like a pro level maker, it's just much, much more fail-safe. So there we go, that's that all done, nice and easy. I'm going to now, you have to close it when you turn it off. So again, I'll close it back down and then press the lock button, and turn it off, and then the fan turns off again automatically, and it will just cool down like that for you. I think if you leave it for about 13 minutes untouched, it will automatically turn off. So that's another nice safety feature. So what I was saying is, yeah, this has been in production for such a long time that I think it preceded the production for the heat app. So, but to be honest, this is, I don't know, the dials, there's something quite lovely about them, and you can have the presets. So you probably have, if you are batch making, you'd probably find that most of the time it's like glitter iron-on onto 100% cotton or whatever, or easy or smart iron-on or whatever like that. So you can have the full presets. Let me just check if there's any other chats, and then also check my notes to see if there's anything else that I have, any blindingly obvious things that I've forgotten to tell you. No, I think we're all good. Yeah. I know another really nice and important thing to tell you, actually, and that is that storage. So it's really big and it's really heavy compared to, not compared to other big presses like this, but it is compared to like the easy presses. And so when you first get it, we're like, oh my goodness, where am I going to store it? But actually it's brilliant for storage, because you can, when you've finished using it, you just pull the plugs out. So there are two plugs on the back end, the heat plug and the small plug for this. So USB connection, you just pull those out, and then you can lift it up. I'll try and show you actually, because it's quite good. How much of me can you see? There we go. So you just kind of, and you can do it whilst it's hot as well. So you can lift it up. Try and go around here. And then it stores like that, upright. So that's how I keep mine all the time. So actually it doesn't take up very much space at all, which is really, really good. They also made it so that it fits kind of like on a countertop as well. So it doesn't actually take up much space in relation to what other comparable like pro level presses might take up on the countertop as well. Yeah, I think that's everything. Do you have any other questions whilst I'm here that I can help you with? Or is that good? All good? Have you got one in store, everybody? Have you seen them?
Yeah, we have one in Wimbledon. People are asking, what's it like with the infusible ink on the blanks, like the coasters and stuff?
I've not done coasters with it, but I've done infusible ink t-shirts with it. And again, it's in my experience with anything I've done with it, it's been completely fail safe. You just press it down and it lifts up, and it's like, oh, it's just kind of, I feel like it really does it for you. You know, yeah. You can kind of be doing other stuff at the same time as well. But yeah, infusible ink it's just as good as, just as easy as that little quick insight into the iron-on was for you as well.
Hello.
Hi there, Rebecca.
Sorry, I've been cooking, so I kept you off video because I didn't think you'd want that. Mm-hmm. You mentioned the maximum thickness. Is that a overall maximum thickness, or is it certain materials that can go higher?
No, it's overall. So you can do, so if you've got, so if it's wood, it will always autocorrect to whatever material you're pressing onto. So obviously if it's something that's squishy, it will push down, and that will, once it's being pressed, it will go to lower than 2 inches. But if it's wood, obviously that's not squishy, so it will stay up at that 2 inches. So it's anything up to, I guess the thickest and hardest would be wood at 2 inches, but yeah, anything.
Fab. Yeah, signs are very popular at the moment for us,
yeah,
especially weddings coming up. So
yeah. I read more weddings than this year than for 40 years, because they've all been cancelled. So I'm sure you're very busy with all of your people preparing for weddings in store. But, right, anything else from anybody? No? Oh, well, thank you so much. It was lovely to see you all. If you do have any other questions, you can always find me on Instagram. It's at the Makery Kate. If if you want to just ask any questions there. But yeah, it was lovely to see you, and hopefully we'll be able to pop in some stores, so I might even meet some of you face to face at some point. But yeah, have fun, and thanks for joining me, and yeah, see you soon. Take
Thank
care.
you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.